Well, good morning and welcome to the Monday edition of the ICU TV Breakfast Show right here at the ICU TV studios in Chalala of Shantumbu Road. It is the 22nd of March 2026. Quite an interesting day, of course, after the long weekend and all. I don't know if I don't even think I got much rest because even the weekend was still packed with some work, but nevertheless, we do welcome you to the Monday edition once more of the Icu TV Breakfast Show. I'm your host this morning, MALUBA MWANAMUCHENDE, and just take a look as we bring to you all the latest updates that we have to you this morning.
Well, yes, Eric, we have a lot of items lined up today. So do stay tuned to ICU TV, ZRDC, and ICU, and also our YouTube channel, which is ICU TV, as we bring you all the latest updates that we have happening in the country. And I am your host, MIRRIAM GAAMANI. We take a short break, and coming up, we have more details.
Well, we're back, and thank you so much for still staying glued. What's on your mind this morning?
I am quite excited about what this week has for me because I have a lot of things lined up. I'm working on some nitty-gritty projects, so I hope they go my way.
We've got a lot of kind of content from you coming up.
Yes, exactly. So look out for my content.
Well, of course. Well, do make sure to look out for her content. Of course, this is one of the biggest presenters that I've seen in the system. If you've not followed her yet, please do make sure to follow her platforms as you get to, listen to some stuff that's new, stuff that's exciting, and all. But for now, we just dive into our first story this morning under the headline pick. Of course, that's the first segment that we are starting with, and the first story reads, well, of course, President Hakainde Hichilema has condemned the brutal mob killing of endless Helen Kamutumbe in Kalumbila district. What are the other headlines that we have this morning?
We have government vows to strengthen PPF framework amid road quality concerns.
And we also have IBA moves to regulate online broadcasting.
We also have the issue of roadworks that are being taken by government to curb the flooding that we've been having in Kamwala South.
And also RDS starts repairs Monze Nico Road, which is quite an interesting story that we're also going to be getting to look at very soon. And government also launches multi-agency response to Kamwala South flooding, like it has already been brought out by Miriam here. And well, of course, this morning on our headlines, that's what we have, and we'll be getting into the story pick. Now we get to pick out some of the stories that are making headlines this morning and just get to talk about them more. And also later we will have to look at, we'll get to look at what's trending on social media. And also for now we go on a short break, and we'll be right back as we dive into these stories this morning.
Well, thank you so much for still being with us. And now on our first story, we have President Hakainde Hichilema has condemned the brutal mob killing of endless Helen Kamutemba in Kalumbila district of Northwestern Province, describing the attack as a heinous crime and warning that those responsible will face the full force of the law. Now, Katumba was attacked and killed by a mob that accused her of witchcraft in what State House described as extrajudicial violence that has no place in Zambia. Now, the president has since ordered the Zambia Police Service and other security agencies to conduct thorough investigation and arrest all individuals involved in her death. He expressed particular concern that the attack appears to have been carried out largely by young people, urging parents and guardians to instill strong family values in their children. Now, the head of state said suspected crimes should always be reported to law enforcement agencies and never acted upon unruly. The president extended his condolences to the family of Katumba, referring that justice will be served. Eric, I have been going through social media, and this is one topic that has raised a lot of concerns. We're having a lot of people that are condemning this act. What's your take?
I feel this is something, and it is amazing that the president has actually jumped in to, talk about this particular issue, because these are issues that we have seen are now stemming into something that's becoming a normal thing. Just a few days ago, we had another case of a person being, beaten also because of the same allegations. We should put it and it looks like it's becoming worse, because when we reach to a point that a person has to be killed in the process, I think that's quite unreal, and that's something that we shouldn't tolerate. And it's amazing that the president has come on board to condemn such a vice, and he's brought I hear some of the suspects have been brought to book so far. From the time I checked, we had about 8 people being brought to book over this same issue.
I found it really concerning seeing that we also had women that were actually attacking her. We're seeing that instead of them supporting their fellow woman, they were the ones that are actually in the forefront stoning her. So it's something that's really disturbing, and I think the Zambia police, they should take course and they should bring everybody involved to book.
Indeed, they should. And though, like I had mentioned, it's quite amazing that, of course, we have already like 8 people apprehended, and I'm hoping there's certain faces that I saw that were actually trending more on social media that were being linked to the same vice, and I hope they are part of those 8 people, because there's this young lady that I saw who was quite happy seeing whatever was happening to the woman, and she was actually part of the people that were beating and hitting the woman, which is quite sad. And this young man, most of these young people actually looked like they were young enough to be this woman's children and all, and which is not so good of a thing, because what are we getting into as a country if we're going to be comfortable, brutally beating up a person to the point that they die, and we are able to just feel comfortable? And I do not think that's something that we should, tolerate as Zambia. We do call ourselves a Christian nation, I should say, and looking at how people are now thinking nowadays, I do not feel we do not.
It can make one think otherwise.
Of course. Well, just in case you have something to say, you'll contribute towards this particular story that we are just from reading, or the stories coming up ahead, please do make sure to call us on the numbers that are going to be on your screen, as well as in the bio that's going to be up on your screens. And now getting down to our second story this morning under our story pick. Well, the government has acknowledged public concerns over the performance of road infrastructure projects under the public-private partnership framework, and saying it is advancing reforms to strengthen oversight, accountability, and value for money. And the Ministry of Finance and National Planning said the concerns raised, including by the Engineering Institution of Zambia, go to the heart of what citizens expect from national infrastructure: durability, safety, and clear value for money. Well, the government said it considers the public scrutiny legitimate and constructive, while adding that weaknesses in project supervision and enforcement, not the PPP model itself, are to blame for shortfalls. And furthermore, Finance and National Planning Minister Dr. Stumbeko Msokotwani reaffirmed Zambia's commitment to the PPP framework, saying the country is not stepping back from private sector partnership, but is strengthening the rules and institutions that make it work for the public. Well, he added that reforms already underway will make independent technical oversight a standard requirement across all PPP projects, with no significant works proceeding without credible supervision. Quite an interesting story, and it is amazing that the government is coming in to, you know, look at these issues, because certain issues are just left neglected and all. And we see Dr. Astumbe Msokotwani, you know, reaffirming Zambia's commitment to the PPP framework, saying the country will not step back from the private sector partnership, but is strengthening rather the rules and institutions that make it work for the public, which is quite an amazing, I should say, what would you call it? Move. Indeed.
And it is quite important because even the President of the Republic of Zambia, His Excellency Hakainde Hichilema, he's always reaffirming the commitment between the private sector and the government, that they should work hand in hand in order to develop Zambia, of course, in terms of our infrastructure. And now, just going to our other story, IBM moves to regulate online broadcasting. The Zambia Independent Broadcasting Authority is developing regulations and guidelines to govern online broadcasting in Zambia, saying the framework will complement existing rules that currently apply to traditional radio and television platforms. Now, the director for the Independent Broadcasting the Director for the Independent Broadcasting Authority, General Webster Melody, says the authority will only begin licensing and regulating online broadcasters once the IBA Act number 25 of 2025 comes into effect. Now, following the signing of the statutory order by the Ministry of Information and Media, the authority says the move is aimed at creating a safe broadcasting environment with stronger safeguards against harmful content, particularly for children and other vulnerable groups, while promoting responsible broadcasting for future generations. I have been waiting for this for the longest, Eric.
Indeed.
I have been waiting for this. Even as much as we have citizen journalists in Zambia, it is important that they be regulated, because we've been seeing a lot of content that is not even supposed to be posted online, just because we have that freedom here in Zambia.
We feel sorry to cut you short a little bit. We feel social media is just a space, because it is not regulated. We feel it's a space that each and every person can just do anything, and they know nothing is going to be done to them at the end of the day, because you know, we find people insulting the president, we find people insulting each other, we find people putting out content that could be harmful to the young children, as it has been stated. And it is quite interesting that they are bringing about this reform, or rather the regulations of by the IBA, which is quite an interesting move.
Yeah, it sure is. What are we having next?
Well, this morning, our next story that we're going to be looking at is the issue of the flooded Monze-Nico Road, and the story reads: well, the Road Development Agency has begun remedial works on a flooded section of the Monze-Nico Road between kilometer 46 and kilometer 48, while following damage caused by recent heavy rains. And RDA Chief Communications and Corporate Affairs Manager Anthony Mloa says the agency has started installing culverts before the damaged section to divert water and ensure safe working conditions for teams on site. And the damage was attributed to heavy rainfall over the past 2 days, coupled with debris carried by upstream water flows that partially blocked culverts and restricted water flow, causing flooding of the road section. Well, RDA has since deployed teams to improve drainage and restore the road, while motorists have been advised to proceed with caution as works continue. Well, quite an interesting one as well. The road is quite dangerous, especially if we get to leave it with these portals and all damaged places, because there are certain people with not so good of an eyesight, especially at night, and you find that because of these portals and or we've witnessed a number of accidents, and it is quite amazing that it has been taken into action quite fast by the RTA.
I am glad that they have started the works, because yesterday they issued a statement that the road was actually closed. But then a few minutes later, we saw another statement that was released to say works have started. So it is good, because that's one of the busy roads that we have, especially in Southern Province.
Indeed.
That we have a lot of transportation of goods and services just there. So it's good that they have taken a stance in trying to work on it. Now we are going to take a short break. Stay tuned for more.
The Information and Communications University is complementing government effort in promoting legal and safe mining for all Zambians. ICU is offering a short practical training course to artisanal and small-scale miners and those who intend to venture into mining. This training covers identification of rocks and minerals, mining operations and equipment, health and safety in mining, environmental protection, licensing and compliance. Qualifications: National Registration Card NRC. Apply now at www.icuzambia.net. For more information, contact the ICU School of Mines, Department of Artisanal and Small-Scale Mining at +260 763 302 596 or +260 973 263 492. For analysis of mineral samples, contact the ICU School of Mines Laboratory at +260 973 263 492 or +260 977 833 434.
Thank you so much for still staying with us. Well, you can be part of our conversation. You can just drop your comment section. And now into another story. The Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit has mobilized a multi-agency response to flooding affecting approximately 230 households in Kamwala, South Lusaka, with urgent works underway to unblock key drainage system along Easter Lungu Road. Now, DMMU Regional Coordinator for Lusaka, Dr. Kangapepe Zulu, says partners including the Zambia National Service, Lusaka City Council, Doctorate of Engineering, Lusaka Fire Brigade, and Lusaka Integrated Solid Waste Management Company have been deployed to clear blockage drainage channels. Now, ZNS has brought a new heavy equipment including extravaganza, TLBS and cheaper trucks to clear the main store water outlets serving the affected area. And Dr. Zulu urged members of the public to avoid indiscriminate water disposal and support the enforcement of public health and environmental regulation, warning that blocked drainages remain a major contributor to flooding in residential areas. Eric, let's talk about Kamwala South and the floodings that have been happening there.
Indeed, you find that especially the roads or the drainages being blocked, you find that this is where we have water levels getting to rise and getting into the houses, which is not quite a safe idea, I should say, because this is something that is going to bring about more diseases, especially for the fact that at a certain point we had an outbreak of cholera. We're still seeing cases rising, and of course the move by the DMMU to cut off, or build up drainages and all will at least mitigate or help reduce the number of cases that are going to be rising, because now at least we'll see a better water flow in this area.
But I hope also citizens are going to work hand in hand with the DMMU, the Lusaka City Council, because we've been seeing a lot of works that have been put in these various communities. But we're also seeing citizens, the same residents who are in those same places, they still throw waste.
Throw waste, indeed.
So I don't even.
And it's funny how they like quickly run to complain and condemn the government of the day. Government of the day. Yet they are the ones that are causing rather such the blockages and such issues that are going on. Because how will a person wake up at night? We could say it's Kamala South, it could be a certain area, but we still have people that wake up at 24 hours with a sack and just go dump it in the drainages. Like, what are we thinking?
We should be people that are accountable and also responsible. Now we're gonna take a short break, and coming up we're going to have our sports story. Stay tuned.
We are the dreamers reaching for the sky. At ICU, together we will rise. With knowledge and passion, we aim to achieve a future so bright, with more to believe. We're building
Are the best graduating students, masters in the School of Humanities.
Won't be denied. Get to the world, we stand tall and strong.
Hi, I'm Genea Moyo, and I am ICU.
We're rising high with education. We are the dreamers reaching for the sky. At ICU, together we will rise. With knowledge and passion, we aim to achieve a future so bright, with more to believe. We're building
Are the best graduating students, masters in the School of Humanities.
won't be denied. From Lusaka to the world, we stand tall and strong.
Hi, I'm Genea Moyo, and I am ICU.
We're rising high with education. We are the dreamers reaching for the sky. At ICU, together we will rise. With knowledge and passion, we aim to achieve a future so bright, with more to believe. We're building
Are the best graduating students, masters in the School of Humanities.
won't be denied. From Lusaka to the world, we stand tall and strong.
Hi, I'm Genea Moyo, and I am ICU.
We're rising high with education.
Well, welcome back. Remember, you are still watching the ICU TV Breakfast Show Monday edition right here in Jalala Option Timber Road. And now we are getting down into our sports segment where we get to look at quite an interesting game that just happened last evening. This is a game between Man City and Arsenal, the finals under the Carabao Cup. And you know, please just see me smile because it's like two
I'm
teams.
not happy about it.
How do you feel?
I am staying away from this story, Eric. I even mentioned when we started our show that I am not putting any input on this game.
It was quite an interesting game because we saw, in the first half, the game ended out at 0-0,
Yeah.
and then we see in the second half now O'Reilly coming through to bring us to a 2 ahead of Man City. And now, well, let's just get to talk to our sports reporter, that's Stephen Mope, who has a few details. Let's just get to have a quick conversation with him and hear what he has for us this morning. Good morning, Mr. Steve.
Good morning, Mr. Manu. How's the morning going?
Good. How's it going on your end?
Great.
Well, we do apologize for disturbing you, and thank you so much for joining us and being a part of the breakfast show this morning.
Thank you so much.
All right, so we're getting to talk about the game that we had last night under the Carabao Cup. That's between Arsenal and Man City. Please just give us a brief oversight on this particular game.
All right, Mr. Manu. So this was an interesting game, and looking at the fact that a lot of people were supporting Arsenal for the odds and favor of Arsenal, looking at how much they've been playing and how well they've been dominating the English Premier League. So even going towards the same game, a lot of people were anticipating that it was going to be a positive result for Arsenal. But well, Mr. Balova, this is football, and a lot of surprises happen.
They do happen.
So and it so happened that Manchester City dominated and won that game by 2-0. So it was a very interesting game. But looking at the fact that this is not the last game, this is not the last match these guys are going to face each other. They're still playing in the FA Cup with their both semi-finals. So we're still going to see a very tough game between the two teams. So my prediction towards the game was that Arsenal was going to win as well. But it was a surprise that Manchester City won.
But when we get to look at the stats, we actually get to see that a little bit of Man City was on a higher side. What do you think about that? Do you feel it gives Man City an advantage in the coming game, or we will stick to Arsenal still being the stronger team in this particular case?
So, Mr. Maluba, like you earlier alluded, the game that was played yesterday was the Carabao Cup.
Yes.
So this is a trophy that Manchester City has been dominating of late. Now the next game that these guys will be playing is the FA Cup. And Arsenal is known to be the champions of the FA Cup. So I feel like the experience is going to matter in the upcoming game because Arsenal has been dominating the FA Cup, and I believe that next time it's going to be a tough game that I won't predict yet because I still know that there's still a long way to go between the two teams. And looking at the fact that Arsenal are quarter-finalists of the UEFA Champions League and Manchester City were knocked out, so I believe this is an advantage that Arsenal is going to use to make sure that going towards that game, they're
quite an interesting oversight and insight on that particular game, Mr. Stephen Mwape. Thank you so much for joining us on the ICU TV Breakfast Show once again.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
Please do have a lovely one.
All right, have a lovely one too.
Thank you. Alright, that was Stephen Mwape, our sports reporter right here at ICU TV, just giving us a brief oversight and insight on the game that we had last night under the Carabao Cup, which Man City dominated and won the game 2-0. It's quite sad that my neighbor here is
you
not happy.
You have to keep on reminding me. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Stephen Mwape. And now we go straight into our healthy tip. And our healthy tip for today is have enough sleep.
We definitely do need enough sleep.
Have enough sleep. In as much as you are working yourself out, please create some time for you to sleep, because it is important. At the end of the day, your healthy matters. Like it has already been brought out by, of course, the health practitioners, the best or the time that a person is supposed to spend resting or sleeping should be 8 hours. If you could manage, please do even more than that, as it's going to help you, think better. Especially, you had a long week last week. You had the weekend to rest and just recuperate and bring yourself back to speed for today, a Monday again. So please do make sure to rest, get enough sleep, like she has already mentioned, as that's going to help you, put your brain back in a proper state for you to concentrate and do all your works on a Monday morning all the way till Friday. And also while you rest and have enough sleep, please do also make sure to have a balanced diet, have good food, like I have always been saying. That one is very important. The rest will also come with you eating good food in order for you to stay healthy. And down on our fitness minute also, please do make sure to normalize taking walks, like we've always been saying. When last did you take a walk? have you I've really Am I allowed to lie?
No, we're not lying. Please, our dear viewers, they're watching and they're saying, when last did you take a walk?
It has
just
been
going
a while.
out to take a stroll.
It has been a while. I'm not gonna lie, it has been a while, and I think I should put more effort in doing that, because it does really help.
It does, because that's really just putting back your bones in order. Just that small walk, even just out to take a walk to the shop or something, that makes a little difference.
Even that counts. Oh
well,
if that counts, then I've been doing it every day.
Amazing. And now we'll just dive right into what is trending on social media, as we have a number of issues that have been coming up and taking turns on social media. And of course, a story that we had already earlier looked at the beginning when starting, and this is something that we find again on what is taking turns on social media, and that is the issue of the woman that was killed on suspicions that she is behind the disappearance of a man's private parts. Mimi, please do take us through that story.
We have been having a lot of such issues happening in Zambia, because we had just a few weeks ago, we had another man who is a deacon from SDA church. I won't mention the name. He was also beaten, and then later we found out that he was actually innocent. And then just on Friday, we also had another woman who was brutally murdered by a mob, because they allegedly accused her that she touched a man, and then his private part disappeared. At first I almost took it as a joke on the first story, because of course it was sad, but just upon hearing the story, when I didn't know what exactly had happened afterwards, I was telling myself I was never going to visit these places, because why am I going to go to a place where I know I'm going to? But on a sad note, it is sad how these occurrences have ended out. First, it's a man being beaten over the same by these men, and it's good that we see the police coming up and getting these people to. I do not know how these people that did this to the woman, how they did not learn from this first incident. Exactly, and I don't even know where the spirit of Ubuntu has gone in Zambia, because how can you just watch somebody being stoned, brutally murdered, somebody is crying, they are bleeding, and you're just smiling right there? And what got to me is the same lady that you mentioned. She was smiling, we saw other people that had gloomy faces, but we see her smiling, and she was happy about it. So it's something that's really concerning. It is very concerning.
It looks like we've lost humanity in Zambia. And you know, some people were now comparing us to a certain country that I'm not going to mention, say we are now starting to become like that as the country Zambia, especially for the fact, like we had mentioned earlier, we deem ourselves as a Christian nation. But where is that Christianity and you know, selflessness gone to? Because how does a person sleep at night knowing fully well you beat up a person to a point that they die?
You're even sleeping, you're comfortable.
Quite a sad one. Just in case you have something to say on this particular story or the stories that we have read and that we have brought out this morning, please do make sure to call us on the number that is in the bio, and also make sure to text us or send in your comments in the comment section below, and we'll be able to read out your comments even as we get through the other segments that we are remaining with, as we are getting to wrap up the ICU TV Breakfast Show this morning. Of course, for now, we go on a short break and we will be right back as we get to wrap up this morning's, or rather the Monday edition of the ICU TV Breakfast Show. Please do stay glued.
We kickstart your day with our headline pick with the top stories making news.
Then we go deeper in our story pick, where we break down issues that matter the most to you.
From the Health Desk, we share simple tips to keep you healthy and informed.
For Classic Fitness Minute, to get your body moving before the day begins. And trending now, what's hot on social media?
Hello Zambia, my name is Amina Mutambo.
And I am MALUBA MWANAMUCHENDE, and we bring to your screens the ICU TV Breakfast Show.
Wow, thank you so much. We have come to the end of today's edition of the ICU TV Breakfast Show. Well, thank you so much for staying with us. We had a lot of issues that we were talking about. We had issues of the woman who was brutally murdered on Friday. We had issues of the RDA coming up to curb the problems that we are having with our roads. It has been quite an interesting conversation. So do catch us again on Wednesday as we continue bringing you updates on what is happening in our country. Thank you so much for staying with us. I was your host, MIRRIAM DEBORAH GAAMANI.
And I'm MALUBA MWANAMUCHENDE. Thank you once again for being a part. And remember to catch us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on our social media platforms, that is on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, as well as you can also catch some of our stories on our website, that is on icutvzm.com. And also, before we get to leave, we just love to say hi to Yumbe Barbara, who says we are living okay, beautiful, like she's enjoying how things are going on for her. Please do have a lovely one, Yumbe, and thank you so much for reaching out this morning. Like I said, I'm in your host this morning on the Monday edition of the ICU TV Breakfast Show, MALUBA MWANAMUCHENDE. Please do have a lovely Monday.